Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this August 16th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. Hey, how's it going, man?
You didn't pooch it today.
Yeah, got through
Second
it.
Monday, and you didn't even pooch it.
I know. Well,
Wow, I'm
give it
impressed.
another chance. Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
you had a really good streak going,
I know.
and then something got in your coffee. I think.
Yeah, I got to thinking about it too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
getting your own head. That's why I don't write anything down for any interviews or anything ever.
because you start thinking about it stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people like, can you send me the questions you're gonna ask? Like, I don't even know the questions I'm gonna ask. How can I send you the questions if I don't know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Beautiful
you're
day
looking a
today.
little dark.
I'm burnt. I had the kids here and spent some time, like a lot of time in the sun. Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got. Yeah. I'm at the itchy stage now. It's terrible.
I know. I'm just
Ugh.
razzing you. You've been pretty miserable.
Yeah. I got burnt. I got really burnt off Friday. Friday, I think it was. Yeah. And then just. And it wasn't irresponsibility. I put sunscreen on.
It just
And
didn't
I'm
last the 2 hours or 4 hours that you were out.
right because I like usually I don't wear sunscreen because I might burn a little bit at the beginning of the summer and then I just tan. The Indian
Yeah.
in me just comes out and then but man, I'll tell you what, that Friday it was really hot and we were in the water and it just and outside of this I'm white, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
so it just it crisped up good. And I'm big surface too, so a lot of. And I'm
That's right.
closer to the sun than most people. I was telling you, burn up, man.
It's like, yeah, you're a big sunburn target.
Oh man, it was but it was I had a lot of fun. My kids were here this week, so it was a good week.
Well, good. Yeah.
Yes.
And me too. I was gone on Thursday. Was up at Wallowa Lake with my family. My kids came in. We do this once a summer, and in fact, Amanda May is going to be on the show here in a little bit from REMAX, and we spent time around a campfire because Amanda May and Michaela are best friends and have been friends for 20 years, 25 years. What was that, China? Your friend anniversary? Yeah. So anyhow,
Only girls keep track of that.
I know it. I know it. Yeah. She's shaking her head. You guys can't see
That's
her,
true.
right? But, yeah. But anyhow, so that was very cool though. But it was just so, I'll tell you what was wild was, so they came up on Thursday is when everybody traveled up, and that's the same day that hailstorm hit Wallowa, the town Wallowa. And so Kelsey and Kyle came through Wallowa with their camper, and the storm hit, and then Michaela and Chris and their family followed. I mean, they were like maybe 10 minutes after it had hit. And so then that video that you saw of the truck, the red truck that kind of went viral, I don't know, it's had over 100,000 views now. Michaela actually took that. She's the one that was coming through the town and
well, I knew it was you because you would have never taken it in profile.
Yeah, you knew it wasn't me.
You. Yeah, I knew it because you would have never taken that thing in profile because you knew where it was going. Like, I knew it was an amateur.
No, it's funny. So that was picked up by some Spokane stations, and they played it on their news too, and so on and so forth. But man, what a crazy event! We came back through there the other day. So anyhow. So it was kind of a busy news weekend along with being off. I told Tanya Sunday night, it's like when I was getting ready, we're kind of getting in the mindset to go back to work. And I said, well, it's been so good to have some time off from work. She said, like, you worked the entire time we were gone. You were constantly on your phone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to just throw this dang thing out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Sports time.
So, yeah. Here. All right. Let me find it.
This is brought to you by Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention. So what is she, Sergeant First Class, Lori McNeil?
I think so.
Phone number's there on the screen, 541-786-1459. If you have any questions about recruiting and retention, give her a call. It's a great program for high school kids, and they do a lot. I mean, just they'll pay you while you're going to school and set you up for, and maybe it's not for everybody, but it is for some people. So if you have any questions, give Lori a call or email her. Her email's right there on the screen too. Sports this week. Oh gosh. Okay, so things are starting to get busy. So we had EOU women's soccer's had a couple of scrimmages this last week, and I got there and I got to take some pictures. And today on my sports show, I'm going to have two of their players on my show. So the senior that came back, she actually celebrated senior night and decided after the season that she was going to come back for her COVID year. She's a defender, midfielder. She's Yaya Chavaria. She'll be on my show today. And then another one that's another midfielder for them, and a senior, Darby McDevitt. And so both of those ladies will be on my show today, which should be interesting. I got a lot of interviews coming up. It's great that sports are back. LeGrand football started practice yesterday, cross country, soccer. Everybody's getting back into the swing of things. This week on Wednesday up at Community Stadium, the EOU men's soccer team has a scrimmage against Blue Mountain Community College at 3. So get up there and support them. Those guys. They're better this year. They actually look really good. And then the EOU volleyball team goes to Butte, Montana, and they play 3 this weekend. And then the men's soccer team turns around and has another scrimmage on Saturday here against Columbia Basin at 3 p.m. So if you want to see some EOU men's soccer, it's free. Go up there and check it out. Outside of that, tomorrow, Malia Mills will be on my show. She's an ex-EOU volleyball player and alum, and she's moving into some different positions up at EOU as we've lost Sam Flett, the assistant athletic director. Actually, both assistant athletic directors have moved on. We have a new SID up there. It's going to be a crazy, weird year. I don't like change, so it's going to be weird for me. But thankfully, I'm good with the coaches, so I don't have to really worry about the admin as much. But I'm hoping they hire somebody for the assistant AD job, Sam's old job, internally, because that makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, it makes the transition for everybody a lot easier.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different things up in the air. I talked with Angie on, what was it, Tuesday, and that nobody even really knows. Oh, one more bit of news about EOU. They put EOU head basketball coach Chris Kemp, men's basketball, on interim again. So he'll be interim head coach again this year. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I don't agree with it. He had a good enough season. He should have got hired, but it is what it is. So moving on.
All right. Well, good. Well, let's look outside and look at the weather. Listen to what Gabe has for us. So here we go.
Heading into the day on Tuesday, upper 90s to lower 100s for much of us. Although cooler, just shy of 90 out towards Meacham with that warm spot on the map. 106 out in Ontario, lots of sunshine, although some scattered clouds will be rolling in the second half of the day. Heading into the day on Tuesday for LeGrand, it does look like this. We'll start out into the lower 60s at the 8 o'clock hour, abundantly clear to begin with light northerly winds that will slightly change the second half of the day to the northwest, but those winds won't be gusting any higher than 20 miles an hour. I think around the 4 o'clock hour, that's when we're going to start to see a few of those scattered clouds moving in, but overall lots of sunshine, tracking upper 90s for Tuesday, drop into the upper 50s overnight, slightly warmer on Wednesday with highs near 100 and overnight lows around 60 degrees.
Wow.
100 degrees again tomorrow. It was like 43 degrees the other night.
Well, and this morning it was cool. I mean, it's moving into that weird fall. It's August, man. I mean, it's just, yeah. And I was just thinking about when you were talking about the volleyball players playing. It's like, didn't their season just end? I mean,
It's fall.
Yeah.
Moving into fall. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is that you and I were talking about this yesterday. All of the sports are kind of on a regular schedule finally.
Yeah, and there's no COVID, no masks. You see the CDC put out new regulations, new recommendations.
I did.
Yeah,
I heard about
like
that.
where you don't have to quarantine, and there's
or if you're exposed, you're just supposed to wear a mask for So it's kind of no, Kelsey, my daughter, the nurse, she was kind of going through that when we were camping together. She was talking about that, but
did you BC? Why doesn't anybody talk about the war in Ukraine anymore?
That's a good question. I have, Z Gamon, with the gal that we interviewed. She's one of my friends on Facebook, and she's from the Ukraine, and in that whole process, she fled to Germany, and her family is in Germany, but her husband is still fighting in the war. And, I've had people ask if we could have her back on, and we should have her back on and just touch base with it, find out. But it's
nobody talks about it.
No.
It's weird.
And I'm sure that the Ukrainians are like, why isn't anybody talking about this? Our lives are still upside down. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's I think the number I heard is 10 million Ukrainians who have fled. They've had to leave Ukraine because of the war. Wow. So they're in other countries, where they're, Well, you talk about upending your life. And you don't think about it. I mean, when I look at her Facebook page, I mean, she's having to navigate her kids going to school. She's having to figure out how life to go on in the midst of being in a country that is not her home. So,
weird.
How to be employed, how to get groceries, all of that stuff. You just don't even think about it.
Before we get to Amanda, let me tell you a funny fact.
Okay.
You know that Dolly Parton lost a Dolly Parton lookalike contest? She entered it herself and lost it. It was
kidding.
A lookalike contest at a fair, and she entered into it as a joke, and she lost to a drag queen. No joke. In San Francisco. Kidding? No. She entered a Dolly Parton lookalike contest and lost.
Wow. That's disturbing. In a number of ways. I don't know. Yeah. And how would you, she has such a, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see those pictures. Yeah.
She got the least, in the article, it says she got the least applause out of all the contestants.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's got to hurt. You enter a lookalike contest.
There's got to be video of that somewhere. I'm
gonna find it. I'll try to find it for Thursday.
Yeah. So, all righty. Well, Amanda May from REMAX Real Estate Team downtown here in LeGrand is going to be with us right after this. Hey there, how are you?
Hey guys.
Hi.
How's it going? You're coming to us. You're talking to us today from the office downtown in LeGrand here. Glad you're here with us today. So, how's it going?
Pretty good. Actually, that story you told, Doddsy, reminds me. So in middle school that we had Spirit Week contests, and one of the contests was Twin Day. We had to have Twin Day, so you got together with somebody who you look like, and you enter a contest, and whoever wins Twin Day got like a $5 prize or something like that. And Nicole Lewis and I entered together, and we won. But the funny thing about that is that there are 2 sets of twins in our class who were competing in Twin Day against us.
And you guys won, and they
beat them. We did. We look more alike than the twins in our class at that point. Not anymore. We've changed.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that too.
Can you?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we just did my daughter's all-star tournament and we took a picture with the REMAX banner because REMAX did some sponsoring of that team. And my daughter in that picture looked exactly like Nicole. I sent it to our little group of friends and was like, hey, you guys, I think Nicole's my daughter's mom.
I'm pretty sure I shared that picture.
Did you?
I think I did. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure I was following all that. I mean, there was a lot going on there for a minute with Little League. That was crazy. It was a good year.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And for those of you that might have watched those games, the Little League was streaming that, and we were picking that up and putting that on our stream. But Amanda was the one that was on the ground, and we were texting back and forth constantly so that I had the current score and the current innings and what was going on. So you were the mom on the scene.
I'm like, do you see that? Do you see that catch? That was Eiley.
That's the hardest thing about streaming those games that don't have scoreboards in the shot is everybody wants to know what the score is all the time. And it's like, dude, we aren't even there. Like, how do you want us to know what the score is?
Right. Yeah. It was
but I thought the Little League Association did a really good job. I mean, that was really nice of them. Whoever took that on and did that was awesome because I mean, cool. Gave us a little bit of a window. Okay, so you and Michaela's friendiversary, which is
25 years. We met when we were 2.
2?
Come on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, when you were 12, maybe. Yeah, we'll just kind of somewhere in there, yeah.
Or 14, one of the two.
Yeah, so well, cool. All right, well, hey, we're here to talk about real estate and appreciate you jumping in and so I guess why, what are some of the advantages that you would think why should someone be choosy about picking a real estate agent? What kind of goes into that behind the scene that people might not understand?
Quite a bit. I think that it's a pretty common misconception that if anybody has a license, they can do the same things as somebody else. And that's true to an extent, but there are some things educationally that, and just in general, I have kind of three main things that I tell people to look for. And the first is education. That's kind of my big push. I like to get all the education that I can get just because I feel like things are always changing. I mean, I started selling real estate in 2013 and it's different now, way different now than it was even then. Rules have changed and techniques have changed and the market has changed. So having a realtor who's educated is really important. So there are 2 main types of agency or agents in Oregon, and one's a broker, period, and one's a principal broker. And a principal broker can work on their own. They don't have to be managed under somebody. And they have to have been an agent for 3 years and done enough business during that time to qualify to take the coursework. And then they take a whole coursework and a specific test, and then they can be a managing broker. Above and beyond that, a lot of times you'll see agents who have little alphabet letters at the end of their realtor title, ABR, GRI, CRS. Those all have a meaning, and they mean that agent went and did specific coursework to learn something specific about their trade. So, for example, I've got several, they're called designations. I've got several personally. The first I got was called the GRI, and that's the Graduate of the Realtor Institute. And that basically is what the National Association of Realtors calls the benchmark of education for realtors. They want you to go in and you learn all kinds of stuff about, ethics and negotiations, and you start with basics and then you expand from there. And that's a lot of work. I mean, I think it's the same amount of coursework as you even get your license to begin with. So it's pretty extensive. And there are others. Some of the favorites that I have are, I just got one this year called the CRS, and it stands for Certified Residential Specialist. And NAR really likes that. They call it the highest credentialed award for real estate sales agents. So that's kind of a fun one. And it does take a lot of time and a lot of focus and a lot of testing to get all of those things done. Another one of my favorites is a PSA, which is one that I have as well. It's a pricing strategy advisor. And that's been so important this last couple of years because our market's been it's so unpredictable in how people are going to react to offers and who you're going to be competing with. But more importantly, helping your sellers know how to set price in order to maximize how much money they're going to get. And to also make sure they're going to get as many people walking through the door. That one's fun. And then another designation is called the RENE. And I think it's actually a certification, not a designation. So it's not quite as labor intensive, but it's a real estate negotiations expert. And that dives into the techniques and tactics for helping buyers and sellers be effective negotiators. So those are really important aspects of hiring a realtor.
I would imagine the pricing, you're right, especially this last season that we've come through. You know, you want to get as much money as you can for that particular property for the people that you're selling it for. And, you know, have there been times, or perhaps you've seen that, where it's like somebody just missed the mark, it was underpriced, it went really quick, and it's like, wow, they could have done better. You see that happen sometimes?
You know, yeah, that's seen. But sometimes that has more to do with a seller wanting to be done quickly,
Right.
having a specific need and needing to have a little bit more of a sure sale. So there are reasons to do that at certain times. Usually it's not a mistake. I'm not going to throw anybody under that bus.
Right.
I think more importantly, we're always looking at this window of, okay, we could price here and we could price here. But if we price closer to the lower end, usually we're making them more money in the long run than if we're pricing high and having to reduce price tags. So things like that, little nuancy things like that sellers need to be aware of, comes really in handy. And it talks about the best way to go about doing that. And also how to tell your sellers about it, how to explain that in a way that makes sense. And, you know, having the education and the experience to back that up, I think is really important.
How you remember all those acronyms?
Oh, well, I got my cheat sheets right here. We don't need to.
I was like, there's no, like, she's got to have, you have to have a cheat sheet even for your own acronyms on, like,
well,
all these little
they're on my email signature. I do. I have a bunch. of them. I'm an ePro. I'm an SRS. I'm an ABI. I had a lot of them. And you don't want to know about those. I'm going to tell you about every single one, but I don't think we have all day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, what else is important?
Our office. Well, one other note is that our office always takes education really seriously. And one of our goals this year was for every agent within our office to get a new designation or certification. So REMAX is actively adding those letters this year. And I think that that's one of the things that always kind of sets us apart is, yes, we're all busy. And yes, we all have to be educated for our continuing education requirements, but we're just making sure that we are going above and beyond that requirement to really make sure that we're doing the best for our clients all the time. The next thing that you need to be looking for is a strong marketing package. If your agent is coming to you and just says, yeah, I could get your house on the market and I could probably get it sold, then in this market, that may be true, but things have shifted a little bit and it's softened for sellers lately. And it requires more than just sticking a sign in a yard and walking away and waiting for the phone to ring anymore. I read something funny the other day on Facebook. It said something like, hey, agents who started selling real estate in 2020, a price reduction is when you have to reduce the price on a listing. You didn't know that before, but now we have to start doing things like that. So I think that having a firm plan in place about where you're going to market, how you're going to market, what things you're going to do that go above and beyond just streaming to Zillow, and making sure that your seller is on board with those kinds of things. I like to try and be a little creative and have a little bit of fun with my sellers if I can. With COVID, it got a little restricted. And so getting back into that, you know, ability to have a broker open house, for example, or, you know, just an event that features your property on Facebook, things like that. non-negotiables, in my opinion, are quality photography. Some people are capable of doing that themselves. Some people should probably hire it done. But in my opinion, if you're not putting good pictures of a seller's house on the internet, then what in the world are you doing?
Yeah.
Because people are looking online, and statistics are showing that they're deciding whether or not they have interest in a house within 6 seconds of seeing the first picture. And so there's real statistics that support that, not just it should be pretty. I mean, there's real reasons for that.
Right. And that totally makes sense. Because we all make decisions based upon that. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
if you go to somebody's website and it seems hokey, then it's like, yeah, you know, so, yep, that's just how it is.
Yeah, you end up with a camera from India.
Yeah, that's another story.
I feel like there's a story. Yeah, having that strong marketing plan is important. Good pictures. And then having the ability to communicate well with your seller. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like every client and I are going to communicate well with each other, but I think sitting down and having somebody who you personally feel like you're going to be able to get a hold of them the way that you want to get a hold of them, how often you need to get a hold of them, you kind of establish that in the beginning. That's really important. And that's unique between realtors. Some realtors work different hours than other realtors, and some communicate differently than others. So I think that's also very important for sellers to decide what their needs are and pick from there.
Well, and I don't know how you are as a realtor, but I have an idea. But I mean, when I text you, you text back. I mean, it's not a, you know, hours don't go by. Oh yeah, you know, and that kind of responsiveness says a lot. So.
Well, and I think that not every client needs that specific level of responsiveness, but some do. And if you're working with who doesn't have the ability to offer that for whatever reason, then that's good to note. I'm not going to be critical of that, because I think that some people don't like that I'm like you guys and I have my phone on me all the darn time. But I like that, and that's how I tend to function. So
yeah. Well, I try and you're right. And I try and like, I ask my employees to, especially during work time, it's like, hey, if I text you, I need you to respond. But I try and not hassle them about every little thing, you know, so that when I do, it means it's fairly important. So, yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are kind of the main key points. I feel like holding up a realtor against a standard that you would hold a banker to, in this day and age, I don't feel like that's going to get you the most effective representation. I personally don't feel like a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 is going to get most people what they need. But I'm going to tell you, 98% of realtors are going to tell you I'm available by appointment in the off times too. So making sure that those things line up and make sense for you, I think, is probably key to all of that. The level of education. If you have an agent who says, yes, my average days on the market are 148 in a market that's, you should be selling a house within 10 days, then you need to be asking them questions as to why that's the case. And ask questions. Ask us, say, what are your average days on the market? If you list my house for sale, how quickly can you sell it on average? And if they can't tell you right that minute, then they'll probably be able to find stats soon and be able to tell you that. Average days on the market are not very high right now. I think our average overall within that key price point, not above the 500,000, but in that key price point, like 200 to 400,000, I think our average days on the market last year of marketing time, not to sale time, 14 days, I think was what I saw last. And that's not terribly recent, but it's recent enough to give you kind of an idea.
Well, and I think you're giving us questions that I don't know that people would even know to ask, you know. So, well, good stuff. Well, so Amanda, you guys have an event coming up.
Yes, actually, can I pause really quickly? Okay, I'm going to pause my camera. Hold on.
Okay.
She's gonna bye.
So yeah, she's rearranging stuff on the other end for a minute here. So Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that buying a house at times or selling a house? I don't know. I just never thought about how complicated that might be. Okay, I see. Okay. Let me get this right. Hey, you guys.
Hey. I brought my buddies, Randy and Shauna. I did. So we are, as an office, celebrating 20 years in business in total, because of these two who started the office 20 years ago this fall. And so we are going to be having a party. Randy and Shauna, you guys tell them about it.
So August 23rd, we are going to be having an anniversary party, a 20-year anniversary party here at the office at 1214 and a half Adams Avenue from 4:30 to 6:30. We're going to have a band out on the sidewalk. And Raul's is going to be fixing tacos in here, and we might have a margarita or two. And we'll have some fun drums.
Nice.
Well,
bunch of door prizes, bunch of fun.
So that's a week from today, starting at 4:30,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Awesome.
I
Come help
poached
us
the flyer
celebrate.
off of their website. I can show it to everybody.
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah, do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Take yours down, BC.
Yeah.
It's blocking it.
There it is.
There you go. Look, just
Cool.
a
Live
quick look
music,
at it.
courtesy of Glitter Funk. If you
Glitter
guys haven't
Funk?
heard
What's that?
Glitter Funk, you need to come hang out with us.
Definitely.
They're
Band?
fun.
That's the band that's playing.
Yes.
Local?
They're great.
So
They really.
so
they're
yeah,
really
so
fun.
yeah, so Shauna, are you gonna have like a glitter in your hair?
I mean,
Are you gonna do something
gotta show up.
special?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shauna and I have known each other for a long time. I bought and sold a house with you, and really appreciate Shauna and Randy, dear friends of mine. And so, and yes, and Shauna is not a glitter type person, but maybe on that day,
Maybe
will
on
be.
that day. Stop by and see. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Randy definitely is a glitter person.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Randy.
I'll be all glittered up.
Yeah. Now that would work. I would accept that. That would be fun. So, all right.
Anyway, come join us. Come help us celebrate 20 years. We're really excited about it.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Hey, thanks so much for your partnership here with us and being on this morning. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Brent.
See you next week.
Uh-huh. All right. That was fun.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
It always goes fast, like when there's a guest. Like it seems like it's so slow, and like the other day when I was here, when I did it by myself, I was just like, hurry up and get to Benny. Gosh, Benny rambles too. I was like trying. I'm like Benny, so, ramble. I told him afterwards. I was like, dude, I almost cut you off a couple times.
I thought he did good. I was watching.
He did excellent. He did.
Hey, Dana, how
He
you
did.
doing? Glad you're watching this
He
morning.
did great. And I didn't harass him too much.
Yeah. So you made the reference to this camera. Yeah. And so I asked. So I've got. I'll tell you guys the drama we have going on. So we replaced our studio cameras last year, the cameras that we use for the Shrine game and so on and so forth, and love the camera, love the model that we got, but one of them has needed a repair, and so I checked into Panasonic to have it repaired and get it sent in, and they told me it's like, well, hey, this is a gray market camera, and so then a gray market camera means it is actually made. And I didn't understand this, but Panasonic, who is an international company, and this was as I was not joking, as I corresponding back and forth with Panasonic, it's like you're an international company. When I saw them at NAB, everyone in the booth was struggling to speak English. That gives you an idea of how international they are, but I guess they make cameras for specific countries. And this particular camera that I bought is actually supposed to be released in the Arab United Emirates. And so somehow that camera got into the United States. I bought it off of Amazon. And so then Panasonic in the United States won't even work on it. I mean, I can't even send it to them. For me to have it repaired, I have to send it to someplace over in the Asia, that India, or wherever that is, Egypt. Where is the United Arab? That's Egypt, isn't it?
It's like somewhere over there.
Yeah. So
I've never been there. I have no idea.
So anyhow, so I've been going round and round with conversations with the third-party vendor who sold it to me on Amazon, and Amazon spent quite a bit of time on the phone with him. Yeah, I know that you guys, when my door is closed and I'm having an intense conversation with somebody, like, yeah, he's getting after it.
First time, when I first walked in, Benny's like, he's in the office on the phone with Amazon customer service about the camera. He's like, it's a gray market camera. I'm like, what the heck is that? And he goes, and Benny, you know how Benny is.
Yeah.
He has to go, well, black market is where you buy the illegal things, and then the white market is where you buy things, that are legal, and the gray market is like this. And I'm like, I kind of get that, man.
Oh yeah, it was. And the thing of, if you go onto Amazon, if you go onto eBay and you buy, you're buying a $1,500 lens and you see it for $700 brand new, half price, you kind of have an idea that it's probably a gray market item. And I probably have other gray market items,
Right.
but anyhow, but this was not that way. I mean, they represented this as a regular camera, and I wouldn't have even known. I mean, there is no difference in the way the camera operates from the other two that we have, except in the serial number that you have the model number, and then it's followed by an EJ and I never noticed it. I didn't know what to look for. So anyhow.
So what are they going to do?
I don't know. We'll see. So Amazon has somebody that looks at it, but they're like 2 months behind. And so, yeah, so I don't, yeah, I'm, I think we're pretty screwed personally. I mean, we still can use it. It's just, we have to do a workaround.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the neck for a brand new camera. So,
right.
Shouldn't have to do a workaround for a brand new camera.
No.
So,
all right, let's get to on this day.
So wait. So Dana said that Doug Trice is postponed. You want to talk about that?
We're gonna, sure. We're gonna postpone that golf tournament. We didn't have a lot of signups, and Dana's not going to be available this week, so we're just going to postpone it. We're going to do it in May.
All right,
and it'll still be in time to raise money for the scholarships and everything. We just haven't had a lot of time between both of us, and just he's got some stuff that came up, and he's busy this week, and we only had like 4 or 5 teams sign up so far, so we're just gonna wait and do it in May, and we'll still have the scholarships and everything. We're good to go. As soon as we have a date in May, we'll get it out.
Good. All right.
Yep. Now we can do on this day.
Yeah.
On this day, what is today, BC? The 16th of August?
Yep.
There's not very many of them, but we'll just get straight into it. 16th of August, 1898, Edwin Prescott patented the roller coaster. On this day in 1904, New York City began building Grand Central Station.
Wow. What year?
1904.
1904. Wow.
On this day in 1930, the first color sound cartoon, Fiddlesticks by UBI Works, which was an ex-Walt Disney Studios, released. 1930, the first color and sound cartoon, Fiddlesticks. On this day in 1969 was the second day of Woodstock in Bethel, New York. The performers included Santana, John Sebastian, Mountain, Grateful Dead, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Janis Joplin, Sly and the Family Stone, The Who, and Jefferson Airplane. What that would have been an awesome concert to go to. I mean, I wasn't even alive yet, but that would have been.
But you're right. And man, that would have been. And it just was such a happenstance event. I mean, they just picked a field. It was,
Netflix just released a documentary about Woodstock 99.
I saw that.
I watched it with my mom the other night. It's like, I don't remember how many episodes, but it's like a mini series documentary. We watched it all the way through. They burnt that place down. I mean, they got at the end of it. It was not good.
Wow.
There's like 12 semi trailers on. I mean, it was like scary, crazy.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. Watch it. It's a great documentary. It's really good. It really is. Number one movie on this day, 30 years ago, Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood.
I saw that movie once, and it was just dark. I mean, it was just, anyhow. I don't
remember it. I don't even remember if I ever saw it.
Yeah.
And then finally, the quote for the day, Mr. Rogers. There are 3 ways to ultimate success. First way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind. That's Mr. Rogers.
Good stuff.
I was watching, I don't remember. I think it was like on social media. But I can't remember the exact story, but like a girl like wrote Mr. Rogers, like she couldn't hear, I think, or something, or she couldn't see. And he like fed it. Oh, she couldn't see. That's what it was. And he fed his fish every day, So when after she wrote him that letter, he narrated the whole thing while he was doing it just for that one little girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
Huh.
Kind of cool.
Makes sense. And
a lot of kids nowadays don't know who Mr. Rogers is.
No. No. And what's funny is I've been listening to a podcast recently. Somebody turned me on to this podcast called Winds of Change. And it's the first real live, really well produced podcast that I've listened to. It's kind of about the Cold War and the influence that music may have had on the Berlin Wall falling down and so on and so forth. Very interesting. But everything is described, everything since the authors, the people putting together, they're trying to create a picture in your mind of what's happening, either that or there's sound effects or a lot of natural sound or whatever. It's very interesting. So
it's like being on the radio.
Yeah, it is.
You can't see you, so you have to.
You got to describe it.
Doing play-by-play on a radio,
yep.
Or color. It's like it's a lot different doing play-by-play or color on a TV than it is on a radio, because on TV people are watching what's going on, so it changes the whole
Yep.
Radio. You have to paint that picture for them.
Yep. All righty. Well, thank you, Eastern Oregon.
See you on Thursday.
All right.